a big part of my journey throughout college was just so focused on going to the NFL. That was my North Star. I thought that I was gonna make the most impact in this world by being the first full Korean American to play in the NFL, to then inspire other Asians, just like how Jeremy Lin inspired me to be like, dude, you could be Asian and be on the top stage, right? And for such a long time, I did not become a better student. I wasn't becoming a better human just because I was so locked into just football. And all of my life, that's all I really want, is like building everything around being just that. When I stopped playing, I went to my senior year and I had a really poor relationship with my coaches, and it made me not want to go back for my 5th year. So then I did what every other college kid does, is start looking for a job and check the box of, hey, mom, I did it. Like before I even walked across stage, I had a job, and it wasn't the best job, but it was just, I checked the box. Even as I was working at that job, I was putting limits on myself as what I could do as a human. I was just going through the motions just like most college kids do, of not really knowing what their passion or what their purpose on this earth is. Even though I excelled at football, even though I earned a college scholarship, I still felt like, oh shit, I'm not really maximizing other aspects of my life. The reason now I'm so gung-ho about taking on challenges and doing things I'm not good at is because for such a long time, I never did that. I never went skiing or snowboarding because I was scared I was gonna get hurt for football. I never did other sports because all I wanted to do is play football. My life was so surrounded around this one thing. When that one thing is done, what happens now? I was living through FOMO, through watching through social media of my teammates succeeding that next year when I was working at this corporate job I hated. I'd be at my cubicle, CJ, looking through Instagram, watching my friends score touchdowns, looking at the updates. I was literally living life through someone else's lens. And as I continued to do that, I was only hurting myself, anxiety, mental depression, all these things of me just not feeling like I'm worthy. And as I was doing this, I had other friends that were in the entrepreneur space that were like, yo, check this book out. First book I ever read outside of school was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it then started to just shift my mindset slowly around, what is wealth? My mom's a single mom. My dad has a bodega in New York. Like, they're not the most business savvy. So when you want to make a generational change, you need to make a generational mindset shift. Oof. Right? And like, that's something that for me, I was like, oh God, I can actually shift this for my kids. I can shift this for the next generation, right? It's so easy to point the finger at what you didn't get, what you didn't have. But it's so much easier when you just take accountability of, all right, this is what I have. Now let's make the most of it. And that's kind of been my mindset the past couple of years, where it's like, all right, I have this job, but what can I do outside of this job to start shifting this framework? That whole mindset of like, what's happening outside the 9 to 5? My 6 to 10, CJ, I was just downloading new software. And I just kept doing that every day. I spent a little bit less time watching NFL Sunday. I then read a book, listen to a podcast. And slowly but surely, that shift doesn't happen overnight. Everyone asks me like, Matt, what's the secret sauce? Like, what's the one book? There's none of that. It's this compound interest, just like when you're investing. It's over time, that's when the big shift happens. And then you hit that breakthrough. And then everyone's like, dude, you're an overnight success. No one watched my shit the first 3 years I was making it. And now it's like they only see it from this lens. So I don't know if that answers your question, but football, being the identity and just being lost in that, helped me understand that if I dedicate time into anything else, that shit, I could be pretty good.